Good afternoon, everybody. I hope all of you guys are well and you're enjoying the time with your family and you have some good resting time and some good time to study as well. All right. Today I'm going to record this video and send it to you because I feel like we are not we're not producing the way we should be producing. So I am going to record this video and send it to you as a class so that you can understand better what you are supposed to do as we move on, all right? So today we're going to talk about a little bit of summary and analysis. I know that you have read about summary and analysis, all right? So these are some of the guidelines that you have. So as you know that your summary has to be in the simple present. Keep your writing in the simple present, all right? Your summary should be brief, all right? You should make sure that you're not going to write everything and you write the unnecessary information, all right? So as you might see, you're not supposed to use any citation because there is no need to write your citation because you are using your own words, so you don't have to cite what you're writing about, okay? The next part is you don't have to do any interpretation of any idea in the text or in the story. So basically what you have to do is read, understand the information, and summarize it by using your own words, but you got to make sure you maintain or you keep the content, the main content of the information. All right? So our next topic is analysis, all right? So, as you might see, analysis examines specific elements within the text. Please, analysis examines specific elements within a text. Specific elements. Keep that in mind. Next. So the key expression here is specific elements. So you have to choose specific elements. I'm repeating myself too much, all right? So, as the writer, you must dissect aspects of the text and closely examine them for purpose, effect, and meaning. As the writer, you must dissect aspects of the text and closely examine for purpose, effect, or meaning. So that means that you must select aspects of the text and examine the purpose of the information in the text, the effect of the information in the text, and the meaning of the information in the text. Okay, that's what you have to do. So analysis will rely on the use of quotations and summary to show the writer's understanding and interpretation of the material. So as you examine the purpose, the effect, and the meaning of what you are reading, you have to use quotations. I mean, you have to do what we call direct citation and paraphrasing summary, okay, to support your interpretation of specific aspects of the text. All right? So, we have some guidelines, analysis guidelines. Assume the reader is familiar with the plot of the text. Do not spend time writing a summary. Analysis does not have to be in chronological order. It doesn't have to be in chronological order, all right? As a writer, you should examine, evaluate, dissect, interpret, and read between the lines to create your own analysis. Discuss textual elements in full detail. All right? So, if you examine what these ideas are, we have assumed the reader is familiar with the plot of the text. So if you know the plot of the text, all right, you don't have to spend time writing the summary. You don't have to write the summary of the text again, all right? You don't have to put your information in chronological order, like to follow the order, the sequence of the story. You don't have to follow the plot. So, as the writer, you should examine, evaluate. So you have to evaluate the information. You have to be able to group specific information, and you have to read between the lines. all right? And create your own analysis of the text. So that's what it is, all right? What to analyze? Elements of the text. So when you're analyzing a specific text, you know that you have to analyze theme. What is the central theme? What is the most important theme? Okay, every story, every poem, all kinds of text. All right, each and every one of them has specific major theme, and then you have minor themes. Okay, so that's what you have to figure out. So what is the major theme? So you have to focus on major theme and then provide details about the major theme. Okay, next, symbolism. So when an author uses an object to represent something other than the original object, for example, the color red could be used to represent anger. So if you find symbolism, you know, you should be mentioning what is symbolism. Next, allegory. If there is allegory, you should also refer to allegory. Characters. Any character within a text can be analyzed, so you should be analyzing the characters. Okay, characters could be classified. Are archetypal characters. You know, they speak and behave in ways typical for how they are classified. For example, a character classified as a villain will behave and act in ways common for that classification. You know. So you have to basically you really have to analyze the attitude of the character. That's what you have to do. Okay, if it's a villain, it's a villain. If it's a good person, it's a good person. So you have to basically characterize the character and use details from your reading to support what you are saying. Okay. Additionally, characters can be analyzed by comparing and contrasting their behaviors. So you should be looking at the behaviors of the character, okay? Even if they cannot be placed in a specific archetype, okay? So you should be analyzing the behavior and the attitude of a character, okay? So then we have example of summary, example of analysis. So when you do your analysis, you have to write it like this. You should be following this example, all right? If you really want to find out what an analysis is, I would recommend you, this is about Hamlet, you should be checking. Hamlet, it was written by Shakespeare. I would recommend you to go online if you have enough internet to conduct further research and understand that better, okay? So you should be reading this, okay? So, again, I am going to repeat this again. When you're writing your analysis, there are three major things that were mentioned here. One is the theme. Choose a specific theme and focus on the theme to do your analysis. Second, you can talk about, figures of language. You can talk about figures of language, symbolism, metaphor, those things. You can also talk about the character, the attitude and the behaviors of the character. You should do an in-depth analysis of the characteristic of the character, and use details from the story to support your analysis. Use details from the story to support the way you are actually analyzing the character. Characterizing the character. And you should also, if you find figures of language, I would recommend you to I would recommend you to actually use those symbolism or figures of language. All right. So thank you for attending this class. I hope to see you again soon.